Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Thursday, the 4th of April. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm joined for the first time this week by Stevie Clifford. How's it going, Stevie?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is well. Thursday, we're nearly there.
Yep, absolutely. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice you're in a different room today, Stevie. What is that cracking picture behind you?
Loudrup and Gascoigne, Las Vegas in the middle, and Ibrox on the other side. And you can just about see Alfredo peeking round by the cupboard on the other side as well. Kids are off school, Derek, so they're running wild downstairs, playing FIFA and all sorts. So I've just left them to it, and I've come up to the sanctuary of the bedroom. Dog's with me though; she follows me everywhere.
Excellent. Maybe she'll make an appearance before the programme is out. Right, before we talk all things Rangers, just a quick word for our podcast sponsors, MPH Boilers. Oh, there we go. We can't have enough dogs on the show. Super stuff. MPH Boilers. If you're looking to, if that's something you're thinking of, folks, then do give these guys a shout. They've got some cracking deals on their Wiesmann boilers. Thanks to Frankfurt. John, who told me the correct pronunciation of those guys yesterday. They've got some really good deals, flexible finance options on offer as well, and you get a free internet controller as well. The all-important links are in the description below. Do go and check them out. Right, Steve, there's a cracking article, of course, the first part of a two-part interview with Dave King over on the website. The second part out this morning, folks. Chris Jack sat down with the former Rangers chairman. In this part, he talks about keeping hold of Philip Clement. He talks about Rangers' injuries over the last few seasons, the need for investment, and James Tavernier. I'll read you a wee snippet of what he had to say about the manager. First of all, he says Clement has come in and created a culture and attitudinal change within the squad without really having the benefit of the new signings. I think that is exciting for me as a supporter to look at what he has been able to achieve with essentially the same resources that we ended last season with. I am looking for him to, if he kicks on this year and there is still a lot to be played for, get some of the guys back from injury and then look to see what he can do with rotation of the squad, with the board structure and the operating structure in place, including the football side. As a supporter, I am much more confident going forward. And he also spoke about keeping hold of him for some time. He says, I'm very excited about him, talking about Clement. He's the first manager for the last 25 to 30 years who I've never personally met, even going back to David Murray's days. I knew the managers. It does help to have a certain sense of them as a person. You can see their personal characteristics, who they are as a man, what they are like outside of the football environment. I haven't had that opportunity because I haven't met the new manager yet, but I just look at the way the club is going about their business, not just what is said. There are certain sound bites that every player gives you and every manager gives you, but look at what is happening on the park. There is a discernible shape. There is a camaraderie. There is something about how he has got the guys working that makes it obvious that is a factor that he has introduced, that he has instilled. You can see that visibly on the park, even when things are not going well. There is a united purpose in the team, even though the quality hasn't improved because some of our signings haven't been giving us game time. The guys who are there have got a cohesiveness that has to have come from the manager because it changed quickly. That is why I'm confident now with him in charge. What do you make of that, Stevie?
Well, fair enough. I read it this morning. Good article from Chris, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, everything he said was fair enough. I don't think there's much controversy or anything there. It's just quite a straightforward interview from Dave. So yeah, it's fine. It's nice that there isn't any controversy with it because normally, you know, there's a soundbite or two from Dave King that maybe plays on certain things, but not today. So I mean, I think it's all fairly straightforward and fair enough. I think the stuff he says about, you know, getting good game time, Derek, is stuff that we spoke about for, you know, the last 6 months, basically, about having to restructure the kind of squad and make sure that we're getting the most out of everybody and the best value for money, which Dave talks about as well. So yeah, it's well worth a read. I'm kind of enthusiastic about what he says about regarding giving him money and hopefully, you know, backing him and things in the summer. And I think if we get that and Clement's able to bring in who he wants, it might be quite exciting for us. So yeah, it's an encouraging article, I think, from Dave's point of view and from our point of view from Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on that investment line, I'll read you a snippet of what he had to say with regards to that. He says, I'm hoping he also gets a net new investment. I don't know what the position regarding net new investment will be, but I think if he gets both, no matter what happens in the rest of the season, I'll be going into the new season feeling good for the first time since 55. Let's hope nothing over the next few weeks derails that thought process. In my case, it won't. You can get wobbles. It would be great if things kick on from where we are. But even if they don't, I still feel that there is a solid base there to go forward for the next year or two. So, yeah, Stevie says, folks, I'd urge you to go and check it out. It's well worth a read. And, yeah, he speaks well. Dave King ahead of a huge game on Sunday, Stevie. There is no doubt about it. It's monumental. How are you feeling ahead of it before we get stuck in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I suppose everybody is in the same position I am, where, you know, when you think about Sunday, you get the wee butterflies and stuff like that. But I'm trying my best not to overthink it too much. You know, worry about it on Sunday morning. Always confident it's a home game, Derek, but I'm realistic enough to know that as much as this may not be universally staunch or liked, we're playing a very decent side. So it's going to be a good game, but we can certainly do it. Of course we can do it. You know, there's no doubt in my mind we can do it, but it'll need everything from everyone. So I'm looking forward to it. I was actually writing my column yesterday, Derek, and Joshua had asked me to preview the game, which I did, and you know, pick my team and stuff like that. It's actually quite difficult, which was quite nice. So there's a lot of choice in there, and I went backwards and forwards quite a few times. So and I wouldn't be surprised if there was many disagreements with the team that I've selected as well. So it's interesting ahead of Sunday. I think we're in good shape. I think unfortunately they are as well. I think they're probably their strongest 11 coming back to face us, which is interesting. But at the same time, I think we have to be knowledgeable that their best 11 isn't what it was either, Derek. So, you know, they've lost Abada and Jota, you know, people like Adam Moy and that who are really good players from their squad, and they're not the same team that they were last year. So every Old Firm this season has been close, and Rangers have missed massive chances in each. You know, when you think back to Lammers at Ibrox rounding the goalie, hitting the side netting at 1-0 with 70-odd minutes in the clock, that goes in, changes everything. You know, and then New Year, Desser's through, McCausland through if he rolls that to the side. Desser's through in the second half again. You know, we have to make sure we take our chances, and I'm confident that if we do take our chances, we will create, you know, enough for us to win the game. So it's a big one. And the honest truth, Derek, is that if we're serious about winning this league, if we're serious and if we are going to do it, then Sunday is a must win. And there's no, you know, we could butter up and say maybe a draw will be okay in that. If we want to win this league, we have to win the game.
Yeah. I said yesterday, we've done a Q&A show for those of you that are YouTube members, and good to have Homer joining us on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for signing up, Homer. I did say that even if Rangers do win on Sunday, the league, there's still a lot of work to be done. Yeah, it would be a huge step. I've seen Celtic come to Ibrox at round about this same stage, Stevie, and I think that the second helicopter Sunday, when the old bedsheet was brought out at full time, I think Celtic were 5 points ahead at that point, with a few games left to go, and Rangers won the title in dramatic fashion at Easter Road. So, yeah, listen, we'll all be delighted if Rangers can go on and do the business on Sunday, but certainly I'm sure that Philip Clement and many others will be keeping the feet on the ground because there is still work to be done. Lots of questions coming in with regards to possible team selection. As you touched on, Stevie, the manager does have a lot of decisions to make with who starts the game. Neil with an interesting point, and this is something I've going to be going back and forward with. I'm not changes from hour to hour, I think, who I would like to start up front, but he says, guys, what would be your forward line? Of course, he has a number of players like Celtic coming back from injury. Rangers also have players coming back. Stevie, it was good to see Abdallah Sima at the weekend. Rabbi Matondo came off the bench and played his part in the game as well. Dujon Sterling, we know, can play in an advanced position. Ross McCausland's coming back from injury also. Scott Wright started the game against Hibs. I think that surprised many. But he's got a few decisions to make up front, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. And at least we've got some choices to make. But the problems with his choices are that there aren't outstanding choices. They aren't easy decisions. It's, getting that bit right is going to be really where it's make or break for us, because it will be one. Look, see if you think about their forward line, and they'll have Maeda, Kun on the other side. I think that's how you pronounce it, and then Kyogo up front. Kyogo's got 7 and 7 against us, and that's the difference. It was the difference at New Year. It was the difference at Ibrox. So whoever he selects, we've got to make sure they take those chances. I think the Dessers starts. I think that's the only one that's set in stone. He's got 12 and 14, and I think that him starting is the most obvious selection. And then where we go next, Derek, I think my choices would probably surprise a few. But on the left, I'm not starting Fabio Silva, because I think that he has been up and down. I think against Benfica away, he was really good. Benfica at home, he wasn't. Hibs away, he scored, but he wasn't overly great. I'm bringing Sima back in. I'm bringing him in and starting and seeing if we can get 60 minutes, and then I'll be looking to bring Rabi Matondo on for the next 30 as well. Fabio Silva can rotate with Dessers, I think, on Sunday would be my preferred option. Coming on again, maybe half an hour left. It's the right-hand side, Derek, that troubles us, because there's no Cortez, who would have started out there and was hitting form just when he got injured. So the right-hand side's a bit of a toss-up for me, because McCausland, to me, isn't quite ready yet.
I wouldn't throw him in,
no, and he's been injured, so he wouldn't start for me. Controversially, depending on where else players are playing and things like that, could you see Scott Wright starting on the right hand side? Scott Wright done all right on Saturday without being overly brilliant. Normally he wouldn't be my choice, but would Sterling come in on the right hand side? But would he be needed in the middle or at left back? So there's a lot of caveats to how I would set up. And when I was thinking about this, your back five, Derek, picks itself. You would have, obviously, Butland, Tav, Goldson, Suter, and you would have Ridvan if he's fit. Your midfield is slightly different. I think Cantwell plays as a 10, and I'll come back to that in a wee second. But Cantwell plays as your 10. Lundstrom obviously starts. Diamande probably comes in next to him. And then that means that Sterling plays on the right-hand side. So for me, Dujon Sterling has to play on Saturday. On Sunday, rather. No matter where he plays, he has to be in that team, because I think he adds too much to it. But could Sterling be in the middle because we need his engine? Could they swap it around slightly? It's going to be interesting to see what he does. And it's difficult to read Philip Clement, because he changes it quite a bit, and he changes it to try and win the game. So the positive side of it is at least we have options. But Derek, I would be playing Sima, as I said, from the start with Dessers, and then go and have a go. Cantwell at 10 to me is really important, and probably most important player on the pitch for Rangers, because Todd Cantwell wants this to be his team. He's spoken about it quite a lot. He wants to be the focal of it. He wants to be the number 10. He spoke about having to park his ego in favour of the team and all that. I don't mind that in the slightest, right? Barry Ferguson had an ego. Paul Gascoigne had an ego. Brian Laudrup had an ego, all within themselves. But the difference is that they all carried it out. And when they wanted to be the focal point of the team, like Barry, they used to say, but Barry, give my ball and give me the ball. But that's because he was so good. He was literally used to run that game. Same with Gascoigne, could turn up and do magical things. If you want to play and you want to be the focal point of the team, you have to deliver. So Todd Cantwell on Sunday, this is the opportunity for him, Derek, to really deliver and really prove that this can be his team and he can do it. Sit him right on top of McGregor, right on top, and tell him to go and shut him down every second ball. Now, at New Year, when they asked him to do that, he didn't get near him because Todd was, I think he had a bandage on his thigh and he had a thigh issue and stuff like that. I don't think there's many excuses now for Todd Cantwell. He's fit and he's ready to play and he's starting games. So I would be looking to do that and then bring on Lawrence as well. And that's a good thing about, if you started Seaman, and you have Matondo, you have Silva coming on, you have Tom Lawrence coming on, Derek. So we would be looking at the last 30 minutes and potentially being in a good place. So I want an energetic Todd Cantwell that's pressing and pushing and harrying and winning those second balls. And I think that could be really important. So he would get the prime role in my team, Derek, for Sunday. And I think a lot would hinge on how he plays.
Yeah, he's a potential match winner. I said it before the game at Parkhead. I was really disappointed in him. But like you say, Stevie, that might not have been 100% match fit in that game. I think Rangers were a bit below par at that game at New Year. So I'm really expecting a performance and a positive result come Sunday. We will get a better idea from Philip Clement when we speak to him tomorrow in the press conference. Tierney Live says, what time is it? I'd imagine it roughly will be the same time, just after 1 o'clock, I'd imagine, is when we'll hear from the manager and whatever player Rangers put up for the press. So, that press conference, as ever, will be popped up on the YouTube channel and the transcript on the website as well. A few interesting points coming in just off the back of team selection. First of all, thanks to Blue Nose John again for the pronunciation. He says Kuhn is pronounced like Kuhn, Stevie. So there you go. Let's hope you had that.
Wasn't it? So I don't tend to worry about them that much, but if that's how it's pronounced, then fine. But I'm not going to say who cares. I'll let people really judge it themselves.
Yeah, let's hope he has a very poor game on Sunday. Mark Webster says, even though hopefully I can stay up to watch the game over in Japan. He's watching Rangers. What time will it be over there, Mark? Let us know. And an interesting point as well, just on team selection. Love this username. Bagpiping says, massive game. Strongest team is a must. I'd be keen for Lawrence to start and Cantwell on the right. Goldson needs to play well against Kyogo. I don't want to see Todd Cantwell on the right again, Stevie, I've got to say. But Tom Lawrence coming in, I think that's a dilemma for me because I like Tom Lawrence. I think he's been playing relatively well. Didn't have the best of games against Hibs when they came on, of course, but he will relish this occasion on Sunday. That for me is a decision for the manager. I've seen some on social media suggesting it might not be the game for Mohamed Diamande. It will be his Old Firm debut, of course, and is that one that you think the manager will be thinking about, potentially bringing him out, putting Lawrence in there?
I spoke about this in my article as well, that I wasn't sure about Diamande, and would I start him? Would he be overawed a wee bit by the atmosphere and by the pace and the intensity of the game? He's somebody that likes time on the ball.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure that the manager would go without him. I think the manager really likes him. He likes him playing deep so that he has time to turn and kind of quickly and influence the game. I'm not sure he would go without him, Derek. That was my overriding feeling. Would I go without him is a different question, but with the manager, I'm not so sure. Tom Lawrence is an interesting one, but here's why I wouldn't start Tom Lawrence, and it goes back to what I said before. This game could be really tight on Sunday. It could be really tight. Both teams know that a defeat really puts the other in the driving position, so I think it'll be quite tight and it'll be quite cagey. We're going to need our subs, Derek, and Cantwell. I would be saying 60 minutes from Cantwell, give it absolutely everything, and then bring on Tom Lawrence.
Yeah.
So I think we've got to think about, potentially this game being two parts, and that, the subs are going to have a massive influence on this game. That's why I don't mind Silva, being dropped down and maybe mixing it up a wee bit. Matondo coming on as well for the last half an hour and things like that. So I think that we've got to play it in two stages almost with the substitutes coming on. So I don't mind even slightly sacrificing someone that probably should start or maybe could start for the second half of the game. So I'm not too convinced that he would go without Diamande in any way. It's interesting though. I think that I've seen lots of things that I like about Diamande, and then other times I'm like, you need to do that a wee bit better, but it's getting used to our culture and the way we play the game. I think sometimes he gets caught slightly on the ball. I think other times as well, he could almost suffocate John Lundstrom. He's quite deep, but he likes to be deep so he can take the ball and turn and run at the defence and things. I know that. So it's going to be interesting, but the main message, for whoever does play in that midfield, Derek, is there has to be no halves given. It's got to be all or nothing from everyone. Got to go and win that battle, and then earn the right to play, and then from there, go from that. That means us setting quite an intense pace. Got to press, we've got to harry, and that's why subs again could be absolutely massive. So Tom Lawrence is a great shout. I really like Tom because he shoots quite a lot and stuff like that. And I've seen more out of him the last couple of months that I'm starting to kind of warm to him a wee bit more. So, yeah, it's a fair shout, but I'm not going with Lawrence on Sunday. Not from the start, because I think he's better placed to come on and influence the game.
Okay, I know that many of you watch us on Instagram now. There's a few comments that have come in. First of all, Adam gets in touch. He says, I'll be in Malaga. I need a place to watch it. Well, Ben Almadina, close by, Adam, is a place to go. Bar None Rangers bar there. Remember, I was there, watched the Leipzig game at Ibrox. It was a cracking atmosphere. So that is my recommendation to you, buddy. There's a few interesting points coming in. Eat and Tweet says, I like Lawrence. Is Dowell back to any chance we see him? I'd be surprised to see Kieran Dowell, Stevie. I know the manager did say he and Kamar Roof are back in contention, although they weren't part of the squad against Hibs. I'd imagine we will see Roof on the bench on Sunday. Maybe not Dowell.
Both Dowell and Roof were on the pitch on Saturday against Hibs, playing and warming up beforehand. So both are fit and available. I was shaking my head because I don't think you can have Dowell back. And see, to be honest, I don't think there's room for him even on the bench. I think our bench is quite strong.
Yeah.
Certainly was on Saturday. And you need everybody to be, on it and capable of being on it when they come in. You're not throwing Dowell in after the best part of 4 months out and saying to him, go and try and influence an Old Firm game, which is 100 miles an hour. So no, I don't think we see Dowell. I think that it's a shame for him because he's a handy player and somebody you probably would want to get game time to. But when do you give him game time in this running where, you've got 8 cup finals in the league and a semi-final at Hampden to try and decide a potential treble? So it's going to be difficult for Kieran Dowell, I think, to get any game time.
Yeah. And Tommy Scott on the team selection, I'd have Sterling man marking McGregor. Cantwell will be wasted staying with him. He can create more. Yep, Sterling's in my team as well. It's just where you put him. I think he could be a big player on Sunday. But Ridvan coming back, Stevie, I think that's huge. I think we're all hoping that he will be fit enough to start the game. I don't think I've seen a bit of a debate, Stuart Sterling or Borna. If Ridvan can't make it, it's Sterling all day long for me.
Yeah, as I would say, look, Tommy, see what I would say that about Sterling man marking McGregor. If Cantwell man marks McGregor and wins that duel, Derek, where is he getting the ball? He's getting the ball in the 10 position where he can create more and really influence the game, and then we can break into positions as well. So if Sterling wins the ball in that position, Sterling's not got the natural instinct like Cantwell has to go and punish and hurt. So, you're asking Todd Cantwell to go and stop McGregor from playing and dictating the game, but you're also asking him to win it and influence it. So that's why Cantwell, for me, I don't think would be wasted because he's going to be in that position anyway. So McGregor's going to be closing him down. So you're effectively asking him to go one-on-one and see who's the better player. So, and Callum McGregor, look, I think there's no point in lying about it. Callum McGregor is a really fantastic footballer.
Yeah.
But you've seen it in the games last year and when people can get close to him, and it's not easy because he is a good player. But when you can get close to him, that's how you can hurt Celtic. So I would be not doing that. I think that Sterling, I would prefer if that was happening. And if Sterling was going to be in the engine room, say next to Lundstrom, he can go and win the ball and affect the ball from there. I think him keeping an eye on the likes of Matt O'Reilly, maybe, Lundstrom picking up Hatate is maybe where I would kind of go if Sterling was in the central, but I certainly wouldn't be playing him advanced as a 10 on McGregor. I don't think that works because, as I said, if he picks up the ball, you want the one that's picking up the ball and winning the ball to be the one that can go and influence and affect the forward play. And I'm not sure that Dujon Sterling naturally has that.
Yeah. Timothy says, is McGregor fit to play? Listen, I think he's just coming back from an injury himself, so that's a decision for Brendan Rodgers whether he starts him in this game. I imagine that he will start. It will be intriguing to find out both lineups, of course, and it wouldn't be Old Firm week without the hullabaloo and the nonsense off the pitch heading into this one, Stevie. William White with a point says, hopefully the refs have a good and fair game. Oh, how we all wish that will be the case, and we're not speaking about contentious decisions and whatnot for the days and weeks afterwards. Of course, John Beaton will be the man in the middle. He will be assisted by Nick Walsh, who will be on VAR and Frank Connor is his assistant. Willie Collum is the fourth official. Now, Barry Ferguson says that the players won't be bothered that John Beaton is the referee. He's told Go Radio, it didn't bother me in the slightest when asked about the choice of referee. If I'm being honest, whether it's happened a few weeks back at Tynecastle or 5 years or 10 years ago, whatever referee it is, I'm always nervous about decisions, certainly with VAR now. But people have got to remember it was John Beaton that advised Don Robertson to go and look at the Yang high foot, obviously the penalty decision as well. I told you at the time that I thought it was never a sending off and it was never a penalty, but Don Robertson had to make the final decision on that. It was nothing to do with John Beaton. So obviously, harping back to Celtic's game at Tynecastle, where a lot of Celtic fans were up in arms, as was Brendan Rodgers, of course, which resulted in a one-game ban, but he will be back on the touchline at Ibrox. I just hope we're not talking about the referees after the game, Stevie, but I think that the chances are we will be.
Derek, if anybody's paying attention, and I'm sure everybody is, Rangers won't be allowed to win this game fairly and squarely on Sunday. We never are. If Rangers win this game on Sunday, if it's not the referee's fault or the assistants or somebody's fault that what's happened on the pitch, because there's no way that we'll get to beat Celtic on Sunday without it being somebody's fault.
Yeah.
If by a miracle that happens, the attention will turn to what the crowd have been up to, and that'll carry the stories for days afterwards as well. So everyone should prepare themselves for that, because we won't be allowed to win this game on Sunday fairly, and we just have to look at it. We just have to block that all out and get on with it. Whatever happens with the referee, I happen to think that David Dickinson's performance against Hibs was hugely questionable, and the VAR decisions and things like that. There's been a lot said, Derek, about patterns of assistance and all this kind of nonsense and moonhowling stuff this last couple of days. I'd ask people to look at it from this point of view. How many times has VAR had to intercept a Rangers game and give Rangers a penalty because the referee hasn't given it or missed it?
Yep.
The answer to that, out of the 13 they've got this season, I believe, is 6.
Yeah.
6 times that VAR's had to call the referee to the screen for a simple decision. Now,
it's easy for them to do that now.
Yeah, of course it is. But the point I'm making, Derek, is how many decisions are they missing and we're not getting?
Yeah.
And people talk about all this, Rangers are getting assisted and Rangers are getting that. How about Rangers was just refereed properly from the very, very start? And we got the decisions that we were supposed to get, then VAR wouldn't have to be involved. So, I was on the gantry on Saturday and I said it instantly that the decision on Suter was a clear penalty. And I've listened to people like Michael Stewart, and I'm sorry to bring it up, who says, he just missed the ball and he was going for the ball and it was fair. If that's a slide tackle in the middle of the pitch and he just misses the ball and takes him in the ankle and it was fair and stuff like that, is it not a yellow card and a free kick? The answer is yes, it is. The mental gymnastics that people go through just to make sure that Rangers somehow don't get given a decision is quite honestly boring and baffling. And that's what we'll face on Sunday, no matter what, and all we can do, Derek, is make sure that we go out and do what we can to win the game and block the rest of it out, because quite frankly, the stuff about the referees and everything else is quite boring. I think legitimately Rangers could have had a complaint at the weekend regarding some of the things that went on, but it happens, right? Just get on with it. It is boring. But I know, we already know what's going to happen on Sunday, no matter what, because we won't be allowed to win this game fairly. And you've seen it, innocent comments and stuff like that this week being blown all out of proportion, and people just demanding to be offended by everything. It's going to be the exact same on Sunday. We've just got to make sure we win the game, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Yep, absolutely. Let's hope that we're not talking about the officiating after the game, but we all know that will be the case. As long as Rangers acquire 3 points, then bring it on. I'm sure we'll have a good time having a chat about it afterwards. Right, folks, well, that'll do us there. Huge thanks to Stevie for joining us. You on tomorrow, Stevie, as well?
I don't know. Joshua said today, but listen, see, before we go, Derek, a wee shout out, please. On Saturday in the gantry, I spoke to and was stopped by the very man himself, Derek Ferguson, who is a big fan of the show, watches the show, loves the show. So, Derek, it was wonderful to speak to you on Saturday, and appreciate the kind words, and, I know how much Derek will be wanting to win on Sunday as well. So, hopefully we can. But it's always nice, Derek, when somebody stops you, whether it's Jim McCarroll or a friend from the show, who'll stop and
Yeah.
speak to you, or it's somebody like Derek and say how much they're enjoying the Rangers Review and how much they enjoy what we do and things like that. So that was really nice. And for somebody like Derek to kind of take the time and stop and make a few comments was lovely. So really appreciated that.
Yeah, that is top drawer. Yeah, big up Derek Ferguson. What a player he was. I do enjoy listening to him. I was actually made my way up to back home at the weekend. I stuck on BBC Scotland. He was at Ibrox, so I did enjoy him waxing lyrical about Rabbi Matondo's screamer. So good to have you tuning in, Derek. And yeah, hopefully your team wins on Sunday. Right, folks, we'll be back again tomorrow. Lots on the website, as I mentioned, that second part of the Dave King interview to check out. Head over to rangersreview.co.uk. And there'll be more videos to come on the YouTube channel as well. I think it might, for those that are members on the YouTube channel, I think we'll do a wee piece with Chris Jack, who sat down with Dave King to discuss that interview in more detail. As we touched on earlier, press conference day tomorrow, so it will be a busy one as we count down the hours to Sunday, 12 o'clock noontime. Cannot wait for that. Right, enjoy your Thursday, folks. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.